You're listening to an Ancient Wisdom Hacks production, The Iliad for Entrepreneurs by Arthur Isidore. Chapter 10. Return of Achilles, Realigning Talent After Conflict. The black tide of grief surged over Achilles as he knelt by Patroclus's bier, face hidden, armor stripped. He tore at his hair, every sinew racked by agony. Homer lingers on that moment, a sudden shudder, a noble heart breaking. Grief was no sidebar, it reset the war. All Greek eyes turned to the silent giant whose wrath had frozen their courage. They feared what shape his sorrow might take. Within Achilles, two forces battled, a furnace of rage that threatened friend and foe alike, and a fissure of renewed purpose that might smelt his talent back into service of the cause. At first, rage ruled. He swore to feast on Hector's flesh and spurn burial rites until vengeance was paid. Yet even in his fury, grief cracked his isolation. He let Thetis cradle him, allowed comrades to wash Patroclus' body, and spoke with Agamemnon without insult. Then came the moment of reconciliation. Rage became fuel, and purpose seized the reins. Startups face similar crucibles. A star engineer quits, a launch flops, an investor withdraws, talent reels. Leaders must transmute heat into kinetic alignment before it melts culture. Ignore grief and morale decays. Indulge rage and blame spreads like wildfire. The art is to harness emotion without letting it rule, just as Achilles learned beside the funeral pyre, before stepping back onto the plain with new clarity. Emotion is data. Achilles' sorrow signaled an irreplaceable bond. His rage revealed violated justice. A designer's tears over scrapped work hint at deep investment. A salesperson's fury at a lost deal shows their stake. Leaders blunder when they either muzzle these currents with "be professional," or let them dictate strategy with "we pivot because we're angry." Instead, channel them through ritual. Achilles named his loss by calling Patroclus his other self. He honored the bond with funeral games, converting mourning into community. Only after rites did he return to war, signaling that emotions have their hour, and then objectives resume. Gather your team for a Why We Fight workshop after a setback. Within days, convene a circle where everyone names what hurt and what still matters. Cluster shared values, user trust, creative joy, financial security, into a battlefield statement that becomes next quarter's rallying cry. Share it company-wide and echo it at every stand-up. By articulating meaning amid loss, you realign talent with mission. Provide psychological safety sessions to process burnout. Offer confidential debriefs with a coach. Peer vent pods where trios meet weekly to share stressors without fixing. And a monthly burnout radar survey that triggers outreach when energy dips. Give each person 2 Patroclus days per year, mental health days without questions. Run quarterly grief-to-growth workshops where facilitators guide teams to rewrite loss narratives into learning narratives. Embed emotional intelligence into daily ops. Start sprint planning with a one-word mood check. Close milestones with a collective exhale, toast, stretch, meme wall. Encourage leaders to share their own stumbles, modeling vulnerability. If disputes flare, deploy a mediator for a swift 15-minute triage, clarify facts, feelings, and a path forward. Avoid over-therapy or token perks that breed cynicism. Never let hierarchy skip these rituals or silence frontline voices. Balance human needs with execution. Feel, process, then act. In one modern case, a SaaS company cut staff by 15%. Survivors felt guilt and anger until leadership ran a Why We Fight workshop. They named losses, mapped values, and crafted the declaration, "We fight so small businesses thrive without MBAs." They introduced vent pods, therapy stipends, and transparent roadmaps. Within 2 months, feature velocity rebounded, employee sentiment rose, and customer churn dipped. Emotion harnessed, not silenced. Achilles' arc from grief-stricken rage to purpose-driven surge teaches us: name the pain, frame the meaning, support each other until the heat of feeling retempers talent into sharper steel. Then, like Achilles in new armor, teams can return to the battlefield fierce, focused, and unbroken. Ancient Wisdom Hacks is a Gorilla Mongoose Studios project. For more in-depth hacks, go to ancientwisdomhacks.com.